How about a bit? How about a bite? What about things that go bump in the night? Niagara's most haunted, a fun place to visit. Why not stay forever and have a scary tidbit?
We're now in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Welcome to the McFarland House behind me. One of the most historical houses, not only in Niagara-on-the-Lake, but all of Canada. Let's go on inside and learn more about this historical house. And also, let's learn about and see if it's really truly haunted as they say it is. Welcome inside the McFarland House. Joining me is curator Rebecca Pascoe.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, Rebecca. So you have a lot to tell us about this famous historical house here in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Absolutely. Why don't we start inside the parlor?
Sounds good. After you. So Rebecca, this McFarland House, how old is it?
This is one of the oldest properties in all of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and it's one of the only ones that survived the War of 1812. So it was built in 1800, and well, it was actually started in 1798. It took 2 whole years in this era before mechanized labor. It was really a feat to have a large manor home like this in the early 1800s.
So I guess a silly question, why was it built in the first place? Was it built for something to do with the War of 1812, or was it just by a rich guy who had a lot of money and wanted to buy a house?
Well, it was built by a gentleman who did have some wealth, but John McFarland, the proprietor who built the home, who owned the property, he's more of a bootstrap story. He was a self-made man born in the 1750s in Scotland who had a whole career with the British Navy before he even came to this side of the river. John McFarland came at the start of the American Revolution in 1776 to the colonies, and although documents of the time call him His Majesty's boat builder, they only do so because terms like project manager and procurement officer didn't exist in the 17th and 18th centuries. So he was literally responsible for procuring all of the timber and supplies necessary for the British shipbuilding efforts at the various ports and forts where he was stationed over his career with the Navy.
So one minute the McFarlands have this house and the next minute they don't. What's with that? Why did the house exchange hands? Why did the Americans take it over? And how did the McFarlands ever get the house back that would be part of their family?
Well, it was very common on both sides of the border during the War of 1812 that, if necessary, the military could demand the use of supplies and property from local citizens. It happened on our side of the border, happened on the other side too. And in 1813, the Americans had a very successful campaign over the spring and summer to take over some of the areas that are now Canada. In late April, they attacked at Toronto, then known as York. In late May, they then popped back down across the lake and attacked Fort George, which was the military headquarters for the Central Division of the British Army. And in taking the fort, they then had control over the entirety of the Niagara region. The British were forced to surrender and to flee, to go farther up the QEW towards more of Stony Creek and Burlington Way, and thereby giving Americans control. And the Americans held the Niagara region from May until December of 1813. And the reason why this family, the McFarlands, get caught up in the conflict, and the reason why Laura Secord and her family get caught up in the conflict, is because Americans came a knocking at this house, at this property, and in John McFarland's case, they demanded the use of a large quantity of grain, horses, and if you please, sir, we'll also be taking your house.
So if I'm following this, McFarlands get the house back, and so at what point does it change hands yet again, and now the Niagara Parks Commission gets the house?
Well, it's an interesting story and a bit of a sad one too. The McFarland family were here for generations upon generations upon generations. They were here from when John built the home, starting in 1798, all the way till the 1940s. It wasn't until 1942 that the house was sold to the Niagara Parks Commission with the express purpose of it being restored and opened as a public historic site. So it was turned over to the Niagara Parks, and it was in such a wonderful state of eerie, pioneering-esque, almost natural preservation. There was very little that needed to be done, aside from collecting some antiques to make room interior spaces and put in a bit of modern conveniences to make sure you could actually be here year-round without freezing. It was turned into a modern historic site.
Okay, we're inside the house here with Julie, who is a psychic medium, and Julie's going to take us on a tour to see if she can pick up anything, perhaps a spirit or a ghost.
Perfect. I'm just going to walk through here, and as we're walking, if I come across something or feel something, I'm going to say something. Otherwise, I may go from room to room, and then when I get some feelings, I'll let you know what I'm feeling. As I come into the house tonight, one of the first things I felt was there was a lot of children around. I'm not sure if this was ever a schoolhouse or something along that lines, but I was feeling like there was a lot of children running around here.
So if we go through this room, are you getting the idea like there's children from this generation or from ages past?
No, ages past. Like I feel like they're in the house, like they're sitting, they're like they belong here. It's almost like you see the children sitting on school benches or something and they're learning. I don't believe it's school benches. It just feels like this might have been a schoolhouse at one time or children were being taught here. I get a very comforting, warm feeling in this room here, but I've got this immense sadness. I don't know the history of the house, but I would assume there was a family that lived here. It's decorated to be the way it was when people lived in the house. But I've got a lot of history, like a feeling like people had died here, like a lot of death here, and it doesn't feel like the war. It's not tied to the war. It feels like something else. Like I feel like people died here. People had crossed in the property or in that, not outside, but in the house. This room is extremely, extremely cold.
When you say cold, is it?
Energy cold, like you could feel a temperature change when you went from out in the hallway to into the bedroom. And I'm having a little bit of a hard time breathing in here. So I don't know if somebody was here in this room that was sick or somebody had crossed in this room that was sick. Almost like a lung disease, like a hard time breathing. It's gone in this room. Whatever it is was in the previous room. My heart's thumping like chest palpitations. The whole upstairs, it's a completely different feel up here than downstairs. Really bad chest pains in here. Somebody may have had a heart attack or chest or some sort of chest, not infection, but some like almost like a tightening of the chest right in the heart here. And I've got immense sadness in this room as well. Like it's extremely hard to breathe right now. I feel like somebody's looking out the window. Somebody sits in here. This room has a very peaceful feeling in it. I'm not really sensing much in this room, just a calm feeling. It's more the one master bedroom over there that I feel I've just got this immense sadness. I was getting really strong chest, really strong heart kind of feeling, like a tightening of the chest and an immense kind of sadness.
Do you feel a presence at all now in here?
I do. I feel like it's not in here. Here is extremely cold. I feel like it's in that bedroom at the front that's looking out over those trees. It's just, I feel like the energy's being sucked out of me, or it's being, like, just feel completely drained.
Everybody loves a good ghost story. The McFarland House is not without a good ghost story. Rebecca, tell us, is this place really haunted?
Well, we've certainly never seen someone go boogity-boo and come out in a bedsheet or anything, but sometimes interesting things happen here. We don't always make a big deal about them, we just call them interesting things. Sometimes people have heard footsteps, sometimes interesting things can happen with our electronics even, which a medium once noted is a good way to see if someone else is trying to communicate with you. But as far as actual ghostly beings, no one's exactly seen something materialize in front of them.
What is the most interesting or scary story you can share with us?
Interesting or scary? See, that's the funny thing, Peter. Anything interesting that has ever happened to me or to people that I know here at McFarland House doesn't always fall under the scary realm. This, I've always felt, is a very kind of warm space. And anything that I've ever experienced or thought was odd or out of the ordinary, I've always lit up and just welcomed and thought, wow, that's great. Maybe there's other people that share the space with us. Maybe that's just me, maybe other people have had different experiences.
So in your humble opinion, if there really were such things as ghosts and they were in the McFarland House, they're probably nice ghosts.
I would definitely say so. We've sometimes, once in a while, there's a couple of staff members, and every different experience seems to identify with different staff members over the years. There's two young ladies who always had a certain door that would open in front of them as they were going up the back servant stairs, and they thought nothing of it. They thought, oh, well, that door must have loose hinges or something. Until I told them, no, that doesn't happen. That door is usually stuck shut because of the humidity, and the boards swell in the summertime. And it was just these two young ladies, and there were certain times when it would happen and they would literally have to say, stop it, and the door would stop swinging open in front of them while they were trying to do something. For me, sometimes it's the electronics. There's a certain set of intercoms here in the building that, despite consultations with our IT professionals, the intercoms like to talk to me. All of a sudden, within a few seconds, me and another girl, when we come in the building, regardless if it's 8 in the morning, regardless if it's 5:30 in the afternoon, regardless if I've gone out to get groceries for our tea room and I've come back at 8:30 at night, all of a sudden, even though you're right down by the front entrance, there will be white noise and static that is so loud from the upstairs intercom sitting on the counter in the staff area that you hear it in the whole building. And the pattern is always the same. I run around the corner to the bottom of the staff stairs and I say, hello, is someone there? And every single time when you start going up the stairs, by the time you're halfway up the stairs, it stops going from a constant white noise of static, and it has the same staccato beats on the end, such that by the time you walk in the staff room, you will never catch it still going. It will always just be fading out with its little staccato.
Beautiful, majestic, rich in history are only some words to describe the McFarland House in Niagara-on-the-Lake. If you're ever this way, definitely see this historical masterpiece. Rebecca, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you got the chance to come and see it for yourselves. It's a wonderful place.
about a bit? How about a bite? What about things that go bump in the night? Niagara's most haunted, a fun place to visit. Why not stay forever and have a scary tidbit?